Unit 2, Recording 6.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for coming. This is the fourth short talk in our series of talks about the plastics industry. Last week, we looked at the process of injection moulding. Today, I'm going to explain how extrusion blow moulding works. Extrusion blow moulding is a method of making a hollow shape out of a thermoplastic. This shaping method is very useful for making things such as plastic bottles, petrol containers, jerry cans, and so on. As its name suggests, extrusion blow moulding consists of two separate processes. The first one is the extrusion process. This is very similar to the injection moulding process we looked at last week. During extrusion, solid pellets or small pieces of plastic are heated, melted, pushed along a cylinder and extruded or pushed out into a mould. The second process, blow moulding, takes place inside the mould, where compressed air blows into the centre of the molten plastic and expands it into a hollow shape, such as a bottle. Let's look at the first process, the extrusion of molten plastic into the mould. As you can see in Figure 1, there is an extruder at the top left of the diagram. This operates like the injection moulding cylinder we saw last week. As I'm sure you will remember, first of all, pellets of raw plastic are fed from a hopper into a large horizontal cylinder. Inside this cylinder, a large screw rotates. This rotation pushes the cold polymer pellets along the cylinder towards the right. There are heaters all along the sides of the cylinder. These heaters heat up the polymer pellets and melt them. The screw continues to push the soft, melted polymer along the cylinder. As can be seen in Figure 1, there is a 90-degree angle at the right-hand end of the cylinder. This angle, or bend, is inside the die in the top right-hand section of Figure 1. Now, the molten plastic flows downwards through the die and is extruded, or pushed out, into the mould. So that's the end of the first part of my talk about the extrusion process. Let's turn now to the second part, which is about the blow moulding process. Blow moulding consists of 3 stages. I will now describe each of the 3 stages in turn. Let's look at the first stage. As Figure 1 shows, the hot, soft plastic is extruded down between the 2 halves of the open mould. The plastic is in the form of a long, hollow tube called a parison. Then, as Figure 2 illustrates, the 2 halves of the mould close. Now the parison is inside the mould. The second stage is illustrated in Figure 2 as well. In this stage, compressed air is blown through the nozzle into the molten polymer parison. The air inflates the parison, and as a result, the soft plastic expands to fit the shape of the mould. The plastic is cooled by the cold surfaces of the mould. This sudden cooling causes it to harden quickly in the shape of, in this case, a bottle. The third and final stage is shown in Figure 3. Here, after a cooling period, the 2 halves of the mould open and the bottle is ejected from the mould onto a conveyor belt.